Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Fishy Plant Man. Okay, I probably shouldn't be doing this right after watching the idiotic judge on TV. I won't get into it, but if there's irritation or whatever in my voice, yeah, I watched a court program that has razzled me a bit, but yeah, whatever. Basically, you don't start a judge proceeding with the other side is going to prove to me. I mean, hello. A judge is supposed to be biased and listen to both sides. So, if you start out with the other side is going to prove whatever to me, you're not being biased. And that's the definition of a judge, is to be biased and listen to both sides. Or am I insane? But yeah, that is what made me turn off the TV. The other side is going to prove to me. What the other side was going to prove, irrelevant. It doesn't matter. So, I thought I would do an update on what I've started calling affectionately the higher tech tank. I'm not sure that adding CO2 makes it a high tech tank. That's just one more thing, which I'm not adding yet. Okay, that's all I'm adding is air. And playing with, the light. It's a smart light. The Fluval 3.0. Playing with that. Playing with food. That's about as high tech as it is. You got the light. You got the old ugly heater, because old heaters don't like to die. And we've got like a CO2 bell with an air pump. Oh, the thermometer. Don't forget the thermometer. You have to know how warm the tank is. But you can't really call that a high-tech tank. First of all, there's no CO2, which is the definition of a high-tech tank for some reason. And the highest tech thing, which I suppose usually would be the light, because it's a smart light. But can that alone, a smart light, be a high-tech tank? Just because the light is high? Yeah, whatever. So yeah. The update is basically I said I was going to first play with the feeding of the tank. Cut back the feed so that the algae you see on the back wall can't be as prolific. And I was doing good with that. I was doing good until I got a container. Yeah, it's a bit of the red root floater. A dead leaf that is broken off of a stem. There's some roots up there floating. I guess you can't see them, but there's some roots floating. The red root floater has had a lot of dieback, but I've got a few new leaves too, so what I need is roots on that one. But yeah, I was doing good. The algae on the back, has slowly gotten worse, but not really any new algae on the front until I got a container of freeze-dried bloodworms. And I was putting the bloodworms in with the flake. And since I started doing that, I had to scrape the glass once. Not every other day like I was for a little while. So I'm not sure how much. I think a little bit of algae's getting, new algae is getting on the plants. So I'm dialing that back. Like I say, I think the nutrients shot up a bit when I added the bloodworm, freeze-dried bloodworms. But I don't blame the bloodworms. I blame, just a little bit too much. Little bit of flake food, little bit of bloodworms. It was too much. I don't seem to have an eye for less flake with just a few blood. That doesn't seem to work. Is what was working is just a little bit of flake. So if I can't reduce that and add just a little bit of bloodworm, I'm trying something different. Instead of adding both, I am now, for the last couple of days, teetering back and forth. One day they get the bloodworm, next day they get the flake. Tomorrow they'll get bloodworm again. We'll try that. But yeah, I am still in the middle of algae. Looks like an awful lot right now. And I'm afraid I might see some algae on some of my new growth. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah. I had put up here in the basket. There's the basket, the empty basket now. You might notice that the red brown plant, that plant there, that used to be up here in the basket. Well, it had floated out of the basket, and it wasn't doing so hot. So I thought, all right, it needs to be planted. So I planted it. Except you can't tell that I planted it because it had just melted away. I planted it across the front there, but it is all floated up and just kind of disintegrated. There's some leaves. There's a couple of leaves with a little bit of the red root. It just disintegrated. A lot of the red root floater, like that piece there, that looks like the piece that was kind of upside down. It continued to die. The whole thing died. Right beside it, there's a little bit that's still green. We got both some dead red root over here and some live red root. Amongst this bit of live, there's some new leaves popping up. But you can see all that's died. No, I'm not taking it out. Basically, what's dead will eventually sink down to the bottom, become mulm. But I don't want to take anything out too early that is still alive. Because the plant as a whole is struggling to live. So, don't want to... Oh, that's a terrible shot of nothing. Yeah, the plant as a whole is trying to live, and I just don't want to mess with it. So, there's that. Everything's growing. Okay, the red root's having the most trouble, but even it is growing. It's just kind of dying as fast as it's growing. On my scale of how is a plant doing, I'm not quite sure where to put the red root. It's growing, so it has to at least be 1, but it's dying as fast as it's growing, which would put it like at a 0.9, but it has to be at a 1 because it's growing. So, because it's growing, I guess it's just going to be a 1.0 on the scale. It's best I can come up with for that. And then 0.9 will be this here. Well, actually, even it has to be a 1, because it too has got some little new leaves. So basically everything is at least at, a 1 right now. I would say the tiger is the one that is doing better. It would be at like a, 1.5. It's growing. It's progressing. Overall, it's actually doing well. The holiday cactus, I thought had started growing, but it stopped. So I guess that is the one that can technically be at a 0.9. Although even it is growing roots. Don't see any roots at the moment. It was growing roots up and out, but right now I don't see any. So yeah, we'll go ahead and say that's at the... It sounds like I'm trying to put something at a 0.9. I'm not necessarily, but yeah, I guess that will be what is at a 0.9. Because even though I did have root growth, and there may still be root growth underneath, it just seems to be sitting there. Lots of algae on it. Algae, whatever. It's certainly not dead yet. So, I guess that will be the update. I'm already at 6. So yeah, the battle of the algae is... Well, I'd like to say it's at a bit of a stalemate. Neither one of us are really progressing. And with that, I'll talk to you next time.